So whether it be the Lumix GH7 or it be the Lumix S52X that we're currently filming with, I recently got a question that I started thinking about. I'm like, why have I not been doing this? And you might be wondering to yourself, what are you even referring to, Trey? Well, the question was, hey, do you use monitor LUTs? And if so, with the Viltrox monitor, how do you use and install them? Guys, I haven't been using monitor LUTs ever. So, per that request, I actually started implementing it into my workflow recently, whether, as mentioned, it be the GH7 or the Lumix S52X. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to easily install it. We'll talk about why it comes in handy and why I've been a total knucklehead and not using this to my advantage when it comes to videography. All right, so you're probably thinking to yourself, what is going to be the first step when it comes to setting up, being able to access monitor LUTs when it comes to the Viltrox or just monitors in general? Now you're gonna find at the very top of this particular monitor, there's going to be a slot here, and that is where an SD card, if I can get it out, there we go. This is the golden ticket to the first step of this particular setup. Now, if you have an SD card, we're going to go into our computer, and this is where you're going to be. Many of you guys probably use LUT, cube files, when it comes to your video editing. So if you have a folder like myself, you're going to see here in a second where I kind of stash all of them. My best advice is we're going to pop in our SD card, and we're going to go to that particular folder where all those files live. I'm going to allow that access, and I have everything categorized in a Lumix LUTs folder that you guys can kind of see here. Also, we have our card that's there, and you guys are getting a look at all the LUTs that are already installed on that particular drive. Now, I'm actually not going to copy them over, but if I needed to, I would go to that drive where all those files live, Lumix LUTs. I would pick the ones that I want, and then I would drop and drag them onto my SD card. Now, best advice that I can put out there is let's just have our LUTs, our cube files live on there, nothing else, so we're not tripping out the monitor, and it's a very easy workflow, and you're not just scheming through or roll through files that you don't need. So once you've dropped and dragged those on to your actual SD card, all we're going to do is eject, and then we're going to put that SD card back into our monitor. So as mentioned, we have our SD card, and we are going to simply just insert it up here on the top of the monitor. Should hear a nice little click. Once we have that, we're then going to go into here, and now you guys can see the monitor currently. We are shooting Rec 709, so we're going to actually want to change that within our camera by going here, and we'll go change this to log, so that we can get a real good understanding of what this monitor LUT's going to look like. Now currently, guys can see up here in the top right corner, there actually says monitor LUT very small. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually click in here, and what you're going to want to do is scroll over to LUT table. That is going to be where everything lives. So we go to LUT table. We don't have anything active currently, okay? As you guys can see, it's already picked up on that log to Rec 709. Now, as mentioned, once your card goes in and you go to our LUT table over here, and it's currently activated, but if we just want to see our LUTs, you clicked on LUT table, you come here, and now you can tell there are all our LUTs that we put on that SD card. Now, a few of my favorites are going to be the Phantom or just to Rec 709, because that's really kind of the look a lot of my clients are going to want, and then we have a couple of other Panasonic looks here. But let's go ahead and do Phantom LUT look real quick, and you can either tap it or we can just click. I prefer the wheel, a little bit user friendly. It'll take just a second, and then we double click out of there and actually give you a better look of what it would look like. Probably a little overexposed, at least on the table, but there you have it with that monitor LUT with that Phantom look. Now that can be a little tricky in regards to sometimes that look is a little extreme, so let's go ahead, we'll click back in here, click on our LUT table, we'll deactivate it so you guys can see that is with no monitor LUT, so that's just straight out of camera. Versus if we want to look at our LUT, there's Phantom, and then we'll come over here and we'll actually just do Rec 709, click in there, give it a second, And then there we are. You guys can kind of see that is a Rec 709, probably a little bit overexposed, but there it is with it on, and there you have it with it off. And I tend to kind of switch between these two, some on, some off. I don't know, it's just kind of fun. But then again, having that monitor LUT at all times, you kind of already get a sense for when you go up into post-production and you're starting to edit, this is what your image is going to look like within your editor when that LUT is applied. So it's a very nice thing to have. And as mentioned, we just click in here, we go to our LUT table. Let's actually have some fun here and show you maybe a more extreme LUT. And that would probably be like the deep forest. This is one I find that really works well outside. Click in there, and then we'll get out of it. And it adds a nice little touch to the skin tones, kind of like a reddish. You're not really going to see it too much inside here, but I wanted to give you a sense for another LUT being applied, and then we'll get rid of it, back into log mode. And there you go. One thing you have to remember, though, is if we were shooting Rec 709 and applying a LUT, you're going to get a look that you're not even familiar with. So let's take that in consideration. The overall conclusion in regards to, one, hopefully that subscriber that submitted that question, one, thank you, because I have not been taking advantage of monitor LUTs. And let's talk about the upsides to having it. And simply put, you're really just getting a real-life, realistic view in regards to what that footage is going to look like when you put it in your editor. And in the past, if I was shooting log, I kind of knew, okay, I'm going to have a lot of flexibility, but I wasn't really 100% what the image was going to look like, what it's going to do to skin tones, how it's going to make lights and different things look. So with the Viltrox, or whether it be, I have an Atomos Shinobi as well, pretty much the same workflow. I will say with the Viltrox, I do like having this little wheel here rather than full touchscreen. I find it to be a little bit more quick with access, and also if it were really cold outside and I had gloves on, it'd be a royal pain in the ass to just have touchscreen. Also, we have a few buttons up at the top that allow me access features that I really like. But back to monitor LUTs in regards to, I think that if you're in a situation where you are not shooting Rec 709 and you want to use a LUT, you might as well, if having a monitor, if you have one and you have access to monitor LUTs, you should go ahead and not be like myself, and you should start implementing this into your workflow. As mentioned, this is now something I do, but for the past, I don't know, I've had monitors for several years and I really have not taken advantage of it. And as mentioned, whether it be the GH7 or the Lumix S5 2X, I find that it just gives me that real true image that I know is going to be the result up in the editor. And then I always know that if it's a little oversaturated, or it's a little too much, or I need more, that I'm going to have flexibility with that LUT, plus also that log footage to do what I want. So in reality, it's a way that if a client were over your shoulder and wanted to get a good understanding of like what an interview might look like, rather than seeing that really washed out image that scares them, monitor LUT's going to be something that they go, so that's what it's going to look like. And in reality, you know that yes, it can look like that, it most likely will look like that, but that you're shooting that log footage that's really going to put the ball in your court of what you want and can do with the footage. So hopefully that summed up quickly adding monitor LUTs and the workflow to installing them. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content I keep creating here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I have one other thing. I don't know if many of you are going to be able to notice this, but I've been going full Zhiyun lights when it comes to my workflow. Right now I'm actually using, I'm using the Molis X100 as my key light. I've actually got the Molis X60 RGB light in the back. We're going to play with it here for a second. I got it hooked up on the cell phone. I find this to be awesome. I recently just took this on a client gig where I'm going to be filming and editing, producing, basically come in, film, edit everything from beginning to end for a podcast. And one thing that they liked that I had already been doing for another podcast was playing with RGB lights. A lot of these environments you go into, you know, it just is what it is, and people like the value of what the color brings, the actual just the look of these people's podcasts. So I've been kind of goofing around with these lights, probably going to order a few more. And then it's just been really fun to, I guess I'm just that guy that has not been using wireless to access my lights. And recently with my workflow, it's been really awesome. Like, there's my key light, I just killed it. I can go full brightness if I want. And it's just awesome because I'm able to even monitor here on my little bit of monitor in front of me. And it's one thing where I think if I can keep up a workflow like this, I will definitely create more content, and it just makes things easier, fun, and it allows for me also to just change the scenery so easy. I mean, that would be the one thing I would say in regards to these kind of setups is, if I can get this to even work. Are we working? What are we doing here? There we are, okay. I'm hitting buttons, I'm trying to talk. It's just too much at once, but I'm having fun. These environments are cool, and I hope that monitor LUT kind of walk through why I think it works and how to install helped you. And if so, I'll see you soon. I'm out. I recorded all around, right? Recording there, still recording there, and camera recording. You know, I only show this to you guys really because let's say I film like 50 videos in a year. I would not doubt if 10 of those get botched with either accidentally forgetting a card in my H6, accidentally possibly forgetting to hit the record button, sometimes even the lavalier that I'll use or my wireless mic I'll forget to turn on. So yeah, truth bombs, dude. I screw up so much when it comes to YouTube. Now in professional work, absolutely not. What is it? Dot your I's, cross your T's. I think that's what it is. But, all right, guys, YouTube, fun. Let's go. I'm out.